Good morning, children. Sairam. Welcome back to yet another session of the lesson, that is, lesson number 10 En route to America by Nayantara Sahgal. Children, we have already discussed in the last video that this is an autobiographical memoir, that is, the memories of her days when she was young. This story is set in pre-partition years of India. The author and her sister are sent to America by her parents. Both the sisters have never traveled on their own in the ship. The aunt, Krishna Hute Singh, comes to see of them. She gives a handful of earth, that is Indian soil, so that they remember whenever they are feeling homesick, they remember about their homeland. Okay? She says that the ship in which they were traveling never had any recreational facilities, and there was also the possibility of an attack by an enemy submarine. But these girls were not worried. This was the first time they were traveling, and the mere thought of it also was an exciting, it was an adventurous thing for them. So what was the recreational activity for them? They used to go up on the deck and enjoy the beautiful scenery, changing scenery of the ocean, and talk to the other passengers. So now let's start. As for the submarine scare, it only added to the excitement of our first voyage. We were exhilarated at the thought of the adventure that lay ahead. These girls, they were not scared about the submarine attack. In fact, they were excited. They thought it was their first voyage, and they were excited at the thought of the adventure. They thought that if such thing happens, it will be very exciting. There were only two classes of passengers, officer and troop. The Polish refugees belonged to the troop class. They lived on the lower deck and slept on camp cots, closely packed, row upon row. The rest of the passengers were assigned to the officer class and had cabins on the upper deck. The mess room was common to all the passengers, and we mingled freely with one another. So what were the categories of passengers? Officers and troops, that is soldiers. Okay, and where the soldiers lived? They lived on the lower deck, and they slept on the cots, which were row upon row, above that, one above the other. Okay, and the other passengers were officers, and they lived on the deck. Okay, they had cabins on the upper deck. And the mess room is the place where meal is provided. It was common for all the passengers. Lekha and I found that we were to share our cabin with two elderly missionary ladies going home on furlough. Sharing it would not have mattered if it had not been a miniature cabin originally meant for two. It would scarcely accommodate the 4 bunks that had been crowded into it, let alone the 2 extra people. The romance of the voyage soon began to fade away due to this crowdedness. What's the meaning of furlough? To give somebody permission to leave their duties for a period of time. What did these 2 girls find out? They found out that they have to share their cabin with 2 ladies who were going home on furlough. What is furlough? That is, they have got leave of absence, okay, from the missionary. Now these missionary people, what do? They go in foreign countries to spread the religion, right? So they were given leave of absence from that. What did the author say? That sharing wouldn't have mattered, but then the cabin was very small. It was only originally meant for 2, but on that 4 bunks were kept. What are bunks? That is narrow shelf like cots, okay, one above the other. And then there were 2 extra people. So the romance of the voyage, that is the excitement of the voyage, what they had started to vanish. They no longer felt excited about this trip. Why? Because of this crowdedness. It was too crowdy. They were not enjoying now. In the beginning, I could not get used to the motion of the ship and felt sick and dizzy. The one tiny porthole in our cabin framed a great tossing sea, and I rolled from side to side on my bunk, powerless against the ship's heaving rhythm. She says that in the beginning she felt dizzy. Why? Because of the motion of the ship. Okay, and when you are traveling for the first time, it is very difficult. You cannot get used to it. So she felt very dizzy. There was a tiny porthole in their cabin, and they could see only the sea moving up and down. And because of the movement of the ship, the heaving rhythm, that is up and down movement of the ship, even they also moved. Okay, you cannot control your movement. When the ship moves, you also move. So she also moved when the ship moved. One night I rolled right off the bunk onto the floor, much to my annoyance and Lekha's uncontrolled hilarity. The airless cabin reeked of a stale odor. Yet, if I went to the deck for fresh air, there was the zigzag ocean in full view to taunt me. Hilarity means a state of amusement, and reeked smelled strongly of something unpleasant. One night, the author fell down from the bunk, and Lekha started laughing. It was uncontrollable laughter, and the author was getting very angry. The cabin was airless, okay, and it gave a very bad smell because it was very stuffy inside. So what did she do? She went to the deck to get some fresh air, but there also the zigzag ocean was taunting her. Now what is zigzag ocean? Now here, because of the movement of the ship, the waves also moved. Okay, the waves went zigzag, and these appeared to tease the narrator, who wanted fresh air and freedom from motion. When I did go on deck, I had to muster all my self-control and try to think of the ocean in poetical terms, instead of as the unleashed monster it appeared to be. When she went on the deck to get some relief, there was no relief for her, as the ocean appeared like a monster, free monster to her, and she had to control herself and think like a poet so that she will not get afraid of it. But Lekha gave me moral support and ensured that I did not fall sick during the trip. And when I started enjoying the trip, I also started enjoying the food. We ate Navy style out of aluminum trays divided into sections. We had to queue up for our meals, which were doled out in the cafeteria manner. Now what is the meaning of doled? Measured amount of food given to people in a group. What did Lekha do? Lekha helped her so that the author does not fall sick during the trip. And then she also started enjoying the trip. As she started enjoying the trip, she also started enjoying the food. Now, how did they eat the food? They ate the food in the Navy style. Now, what is that? In the way of, they had aluminum trays, not like dishes what we have, or the plates what we have. They used to eat from the aluminum trays, and these were divided into sections so that the different items can be put. So no need of bowls, okay, different bowls. And then how they used to go and get the food? They had to stand in a line. They had to queue up, okay, for meals, and then they have to take their own meals. They were not served food, right? They had to go and get the food. And that also, when they were getting the food, it was doled out. Doled out means it was measured. It was not unlimited food, okay? So they don't want to give, they were not allowed to have extra food, okay, not unlimited food as you have, right? So these people, they started enjoying the trip now. The strong American coffee we drank from white china cups tasted wonderful, as did the cherry pie, ice cream, and other delicious American dishes that were our daily fare. So now they have started enjoying the dishes which were available. So what was the daily fare? Daily routine food: American coffee and cherry pie, ice cream, and other American dishes. Our newfound friends of the ship were of different nationalities. So they have made new friends also. Now who were they? They were from different countries. So one of them, there was a tall, attractive Maori army officer, from whom we learned about New Zealand and his people, and a wiry Englishman who went about hunched in a dilapidated brown raincoat, complaining about the weather. We argued with him about the war, the future of India, and the destiny of the British Empire. Now, what is dilapidated? It means old and in a very bad condition. So, who were the people on board with them? There was an officer, Maori officer from New Zealand, and his other people. And then there was an Englishman, wiry Englishman. Now, what is wiry? Is thin, okay, like wire, okay. So it means thin Englishman, and he walked with a hunch. Now, what is hunch? When any person walk with one raised shoulder and bend the top of his body forward, that is called as hunched, okay. So he was walking like that, and what was he wearing? He was wearing an old raincoat, okay. And what was he doing? He was complaining about the weather. You know that India was ruled by the Britishers that time, okay. So they argued with him about the war. What will be the outcome of the war, okay, and what will be the future of India and the fate of the British Empire. There was a towering blonde Dutch officer of the Royal Netherlands Navy in his glamorous blue and gold uniform, whose rumbling laughter and guttural voice enlivened our long evenings, and a shy, thoughtful young Chinese student who did not talk much but gazed soulfully at Lekha across the table where we gathered every day. Now, what is the meaning of guttural voice? It is the sound made at the back of the throat. Okay. Who else traveled with them? The tall, blonde Dutch officer of the Royal Netherlands Navy. And what uniform he was wearing? What was the color? the rich blue and gold uniform. Have you seen Indian Navy's uniform? Spotless white. Okay. Now this person, he used to have a rumbling laughter, means deep laugh. Some people laugh very loudly, ha 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 ha. So he used to laugh like that, and had a very deep voice. Guttural voice means, and very deep voice, and he used to brighten the atmosphere. The long evenings, he used to enjoy his talks and laughter, right? And there was also a shy Chinese student. What he used to do? He never used to talk much, but he used to look at Lekha, okay, passionately at Lekha. Although there were 11 different nationalities on board, a wide assortment of men and women whom the war had thrown together, most of them friendly and companionable. Okay, so there were how many countries people were there? 11. Okay, but then though there was all mixture of different country people, but they were very friendly. Okay, once a day the ship's megaphone boomed. All hands abandon ship. What is megaphone? Megaphone is trumpet. You can see the picture here. It is a trumpet, speaking trumpet. Okay, you must have seen when we used to go for a rally, the leader used to have this, right? Giving announcement. At this signal, all passengers were required to drop whatever they were doing and rush to the deck to which they had been assigned at the start of the voyage. So whenever there was an announcement like this, all the passengers, they had to drop, they have to leave whatever they were doing and run to the deck. And all the passengers were given work. Okay, they were told, when such thing happens, you have to go in a particular place. At the starting of the trip only they were told. Okay, so they have to do that. This was a regular exercise. It was a disciplinary exercise to prepare us for the eventuality of an enemy submarine attack. So this was a regular drill. Okay, this was a training which was given to the people, so that suppose if there is a probability, eventuality means if there is a probability of an enemy submarine attack, they will be well prepared in advance. So children, with that we come to the end of today's session. More we will continue in the next video.